Hi, my name is Cody LaRue, and I'm going to present to you education through collaboration today, how advancing technology is shaping the world of education. Student collaboration. Student collaboration is natural. Today's learners are digital natives. That means they were born and have been using technology their entire lives. They utilize social media as a normal part of their daily lives. And when you do something in the classroom that mimics their lives outside of the classroom, the activity tends to be more memorable and therefore more effective. So using technology in the classroom that mimics how these students live in their daily lives will enhance their learning. Collaboration can happen remotely. In the midst of a pandemic, remote learning is more necessary than it ever has been. Every teacher that is currently working in the school right now, this year or last year, was suddenly hit with a global pandemic that changed the face of education in the matter of a few weeks. And teachers had to respond in kind and had to adapt on the fly. And without the technology that is available to us, I don't think it would have been possible otherwise. With technology, students can collaborate on almost anything, anytime. This is important because now, in a world where we have to distance ourselves from each other, students are still able to work together and to collaborate effectively in their educational studies. Using the G Suite apps, that is Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Forms, Google Sheets, you name it, Google Sites, we can still teach all the foundations of education that we have, all the academics, and myself, I'm a career educational teacher. I teach multimedia, and through the Google Suite apps, it allowed me to remotely meet with my students and provide them the same level of education that I would have in person. Student collaboration is easy to track with tech. Most ed tech tools that encourage student collaboration have built-in tracking tools. This can mean things like Google Apps include educational resources such as Google Sheets, provides data for Google Forms. Comments and history are available via Google Docs. That means you can go back and check to see who has done what edits and participated in that project. Assignment tracking on Google Classroom. Students are able to go into their classroom calendar from anywhere that they have internet service. They're able to see what assignments are due, when they are due. They can work on those things remotely. So if they're over the weekend hanging out with friends and they have an hour to kill, they can do an assignment. Teacher tools such as plagiarism checks. This is important, especially for things like English teachers. They can go back, and if a student has submitted an essay to them, they can immediately check it for plagiarism. Actually, Google does that. All you have to do is click a button and it says that there are X amount of things wrong with this essay that was handed in, that they plagiarized this many times. So it's really a handy tool. Permanent Google Meet link on Classroom. This one was important, and this is a recent update to their features. Before, Google Classroom did not have this feature, and students had trouble finding Google Meet links, and there was a confusion over whether they should use Zoom or Google Meets and how to find that and password protecting. So this actually makes it much easier now that Google Classroom has this listed at the top of their classroom. As soon as they go in, there's a permanent link that always takes them to the same Meet. Enhancing education with collaboration technology. Technology extends learning beyond the classroom now. Before, we were limited geographically by what we could teach when the students were with us, and now we can provide students with educational resources that we had never thought of before. We could take virtual field trips to museums that otherwise would have cost thousands of dollars and we can do absolutely free now. 69% of teachers in a study from SAM Labs said technology can be used to support any subject. And that's important because if we are using this technology, we want to be able to use it across the board. We don't want only English teachers or science teachers being able to use this kind of technology. And now we can collaborate and co-teach with various other subjects that before would have been difficult. 85% of instructors interviewed by Campus Technology say tech has a positive effect on teaching. I know a lot of the teachers in my school, myself included, I have found that this integration of technology has really helped my teaching and made me a better teacher, especially to reach those kids who don't benefit from in-class education and me lecturing and them just taking notes and then taking a test. This provides them a virtual atmosphere in which they can learn through videos, they can learn through audios and podcasts and things like that. And if they don't get a lesson, they can always go back and view those educational resources that I've uploaded to their classroom. 56% of college students say learning technologies helps them collaborate, according to a survey by Hanover Research. Being able to collaborate and work with people before the integration of technology was when your partner was available and you could physically have to meet them. Now, if you have a few minutes, you guys can meet over Zoom, meet over Google Meets. You can collaborate through a slew of other online technologies such as social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, things like that. Collaboration technology. Collaboration technology in education can help drive student success by empowering students to succeed with face-to-face interaction regardless of the device or location. Having the ability to reach Google Classroom from any device, and we use Chromebooks, MacBooks, PCs, and they all integrate and work together. Personalize their learning. We can encourage students to learn at their own pace through blended and flipped learning. And like I said before, I mentioned I like to upload all my educational resources that my students can go back and refer to at any time. So throughout the course of days, weeks, even months later, they can go back to earlier lessons to help reinforce the comprehension of the more advanced lessons. Increase student engagement. We can equip students with online tools to access content and collaborate with classmates and teachers. We are able to, even more than online conferencing, like I mentioned, there are social media platforms that they can get together with, even applications like Google Docs, which you can share those documents and projects with other students and you can work together, and we as teachers can go in and see who has actually contributed to that project by seeing the revision history. It's an incredible tool that I can't speak highly enough of. Collaboration through connection. Video conferencing technology allows teachers to stay connected to students, other teachers, administrators, parents, industry professionals, and various other educational resources. And I wanted to leave this one for last because I think it's the most important, that by utilizing video conferencing technology, it can completely revolutionize the way that we meet with people. Take for example, student-teacher conferences, or parent-teacher conferences rather. I know that one of the main complaints from a lot of parents is that or rather teachers, is that parents don't meet with us. The ones that do show up for parent-teacher conferences typically aren't the ones that we really are concerned about. So with video conferencing, we are enabling ourselves or giving the opportunity to meet with parents who otherwise may not want to come in person. And here's a look at my resources. so that you can refer back to these later. And if you're interested, I can upload this PowerPoint presentation to you all so that you can visit those sites directly by clicking the links or just copying the links into your web browser.
Right now, I'm using technology in the classroom, first of all, by meeting with my students remotely. So I can meet with them anytime they're not here. If there are any circumstances where they can't be in the building, I can meet with them. I'm using technology to form projects so that students can collaborate on certain writing projects or digital projects. I am able to use technology so that students can take field trips, virtual field trips, and collaborate with outside entities. So if we wanted to go to the Smithsonian for some reason, we can meet with a docent from the Smithsonian and learn a lot about that in places they may never have the opportunity to travel to. And then I am able to collaborate with other teachers so that we can have, say, cross-curricular projects between multimedia teacher, between me, and then also between, I just lost, other teachers. Absolutely. I will be adopting, first of all, I really like the idea that I am able to share with students that lectures that perhaps they weren't able to attend. So to be able to post any lectures that I give over a certain topic, I think will be great for the students. And also I think it's better than having a sub in and trying to teach what I wanted to go over. Also, the collaboration between myself and outside entities. We can do virtual field trips, get their knowledge and bring it into our classroom. And then also definitely with other teachers so that we can collaborate on projects together. I am able to keep my supervisors updated with the documents so that they are able at any time to see how students are doing, i.e. their attendance and or completion of assignments. I am able to work with parents now better. I mean, we still email, which is great, and using technology, but I am able to talk to them via a one-on-one Google Meet about their child, which I think is actually better than an email. It's actually done both. It has made it easier in that some of my assessments I am able to have immediately graded by the technology. However, it has made it harder in that it's difficult for me to gauge how students are doing or how they are understanding the material I am giving. Being able to look at their body language, facial expressions, has for over 20 years helped me understand if students were actually comprehending, and not having that in front of me makes it a little bit difficult.
I think the most important goal that I am taking away from how to integrate technology in the collaboration with other people is I want to use technology to collaborate more with my parents, that is my students' parents. Opening a line of communication with the home, family, or guardians is, I think, the most important way that I can utilize technology. I'm already integrating technology into my daily activities and lessons, but opening that line of communication will help me better or more effectively reach my students and teach them in ways that otherwise I would be unable to, because I didn't have the parents' help, or parents didn't have any idea what we were doing in class, so they really weren't able to help as opposed to academics. The second goal that I have is collaborating more and opening a line of communication with industry professionals. I'd like for my students to speak to these people and get a sense of what it's actually like to work in the field of multimedia and design, and get a sense of the type of equipment and applications that these industry professionals use. And by utilizing video conferencing, I can meet with more people who otherwise might not have the time or be geographically unavailable. In the past, I've had speakers come into the school, and there's a lot of red tape associated with that. They have to get time off. They have to be able to come up with an idea of what they want to talk about, how I need to get all my students in one place. I have to get that approved through administration. So I think this cuts all that in half. By using video conferencing technology, my students can speak with these people face to face with very minimal effort. And lastly, my third goal is to integrate video conferencing and technology in the classroom to take virtual field trips, take my students to see designs that they otherwise wouldn't have ever been able to see, at least not with a significant amount of money. I know places like all the Pittsburgh museums, Andy Warhol Museum, all offer virtual tours, and especially right now, the Louvre offers virtual tours that we can see exhibitions there that are actually a part of the museum that, like I said, without thousands of dollars and a significant field trip, we otherwise wouldn't have been able to take. But now we can speak to professionals at NASA and talk to archaeologists and people like that I just wouldn't have had the ability to do before. So I'd like to integrate more of that into my teaching and lessons with my students so that they can design with the world in mind. Thank you.